In this tutorial, I will look at the two example Bmesh scripts that come with Blender, and I'll show how to use the Bmesh module to assign different materials to the faces of a plane, change the layout to scripting in the Templates menu, Python, Bmesh Simple. In the Templates menu, Python, Bmesh Simple Edit Mode. Both scripts do the same thing. They move all the vertices of the mesh object +1 in the X direction. The first script assumes that a mesh object is selected and that we're in object mode. The second script assumes that we have a mesh object in edit mode. If I edit the script, change the value to 4 Blender units and run the script, off the vertices go, the origin of the cube stays at the center. I can do the same to the other script. This time I'm going to set the value to -4 and I must be in object mode. When I run the script, it appears as though nothing has happened. For some reason, the screen doesn't automatically refresh, but as soon as I move the view, the screen refreshes. Both scripts are in roughly 3 parts. The first part converts the original Blender mesh representation into the Bmesh representation. The second part uses the properties and methods of the Bmesh module to edit the mesh, and the third part converts the Bmesh back to the original Blender representation. Going through the script, we need a separate import for the Bmesh module because it is a standalone module. I'm going to change the name of this variable to mesh. The currently selected object is the cube, and it has an underlying mesh, also called cube, and this line returns a pointer to the underlying mesh. The Bmesh new method, as the comment says, creates an empty Bmesh, and this method converts the original Blender mesh into a Bmesh. Now the Bmesh can be edited. Verts is the sequence of vertices in the Bmesh. The loop variable v is set to each vertex in the sequence. There are 8 vertices in a cube. Each time through the loop, -4 is added to the vertex's x coordinate. Once the editing is complete, the toMesh method updates the Blender mesh with the Bmesh data. Once converted, the Bmesh data is no longer required, so the memory that it uses can be freed up. Going back to the other example script that assumes the scene is in edit mode, getting a pointer to the Blender mesh takes 2 lines in this listing, whereas it took 1 line in the previous listing. The name of the methods are similar, with the word edit added for the methods used in edit mode. And notice that this line combines creating the new Bmesh and filling it into one. The next line is an example of accessing the faces of the Bmesh. When the line is run, there will not be an active face. I'll talk more about the sequence of faces in my example script. The for loop is the same as in the previous script. And finally, the original mesh is updated from the Bmesh. Next, I'm going to look at my script, which when we run we get a plane with a grid pattern on it. Adding mesh objects and creating new materials I have covered in previous tutorials, and I have covered linking the underlying mesh to a material. Linking a second material to the mesh will create another material slot. For the plane to have more than one color, it must have more than one face. I use subdivide to create an 8 by 8 grid of faces. To use the subdivide operator, I must toggle into edit mode. At this point, I have a choice. I could stay in edit mode and use the edit mode methods and toggle back at the end, or I can toggle to object mode here and use the object mode methods. Making the Bmesh representation and filling it is the same as before. Just as V inverts went through the sequence of all the vertices in the Bmesh, F in faces goes through the sequence of all the faces in the Bmesh. The variable count is initialized as 0 and it is incremented each time through the loop. And as there are 64 faces, it will run from 0 to 63. If count in is one way of changing the color of selected faces, the original list of numbers ran from 0 to 63. I have deleted the numbers for the faces that I want to stay green. The first material appended to a mesh has a material index of 0, in this case the green material. The second material appended has a material index of 1, in this case the grey material. So all the faces in the list have the grey material assigned to them. If it was just a few faces, you could set each face individually. Once editing is completed, the original mesh is updated. That's the end of the tutorial. I'll put the scripts and the files used for you to download at my website. Click the link or the eye icon. If you'd like to subscribe, click the link or the stick man. Thanks for watching and goodbye.